Well, good day, everyone, and praise the Lord once again. It's your boy, Pastor Corey Allen Duncan, Senior, privileged to pastor the City of Hope Community Church in the great city of Indianapolis, Indiana. And as always, as we said, we are dedicated to you in the month of December to bring you tools, tips, and techniques that will help you dun, 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 survive the holiday season. I am not by myself. I have with me today two very special guests who have been serving on this panel with us. I have the Reverend Dr. I feel like saying Martin Luther King every time I say that. The Reverend Dr. Mark Fisher, who is with us today, who is a master in social work. We also have grief coach extraordinaire, Ray, who is with us on today. And we are excited today, y'all, to have this conversation, to have this dialogue, and to talk. Can we talk for a minute? Let me go ahead and get my Can We Talk
That was
challenge out right
good.
now. Can we talk for a minute, y'all? Today we are going to talk about, as it relates to grief, mourning, navigate through this holiday season, the tool, tip, and technique, the takeaway that we want you to get today is don't anesthetize. Don't anesthetize. I know that sounds like a big word. When I think about the word anesthetize, I think about surgery. I think about how they give you anesthetic, anesthetize, anesthetic. They give you this anesthetic to numb a body part before you go under so that you don't feel the pain. And oftentimes, when it comes to the holiday season, when those who are grieving and mourning, we have a tendency of anesthetizing so that we don't feel the pain. And so, Ray, when I say don't anesthetize, when we say don't anesthetize, can you help us out in that area and give us a little something on why the people of God should not anesthetize during this season?
Well, don't anesthetize. So what that basically means is that we should not be um, covering the wound, so to speak, with improper mechanisms. So you talking about drugs, alcohol. You talking about too much food. It's almost like you are numbing it. That's the word. You don't want to numb the situation. Of course, you want to feel better. We all want to feel better. We all want that pain to go away. But if you continue to numb it, eventually that numbing agent is going to wear off, which in turn could potentially have you feeling even worse. And so, there's nothing wrong with like one scoop of ice cream, or maybe what is it, the little mini pints or something. But if you find yourself eating like three or four of those in a row, that might be a problem. And so there are always other ways that you can navigate through that space. Phone a friend, right? Remember that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Phone a friend, call somebody. Begin to write things down. Maybe you decide to watch a TV show or take a nap. Did you know that sleeping is also a part of the grief process? So if you find yourself in that space where you are wanting to cope or numb in unhealthy ways, because there is no wrong way to grieve, but there are unhealthy ways to grieve. And anesthetizing, don't try to say that word two times fast because you probably won't make it. By anesthetizing, then those are unhealthy ways of grieving. So you just want to find another way that you can go about navigating that space. Like I said, whether you're talking to someone, maybe you decide to, like I said, watch a television show, take a nap, go for a walk, anything else that will keep you from that unsafe space.
I think that's so good, and it's so true, what you said. And oftentimes when people go that route, they always say the solution to one problem can create five more problems. Um, and when you anesthetize, you are really compounding the problem
Mm-hmm.
and digging the hole of depression even deeper. Reverend Dr. Mark Fisher, come on, talk to us a little bit about, the detrimentalness of anesthetizing.
Yeah, I mean, to try to anesthetize you feel can be detrimental. As you talked about, just that of the comparison of what happens prior to going into having surgery. With the anesthesiologist, there's a lot of risks that are involved. And in this particular situation, as we're talking about anesthetizing our feelings, there are risks involved that could definitely cause problems for you. It's okay to feel, and you need to be able to understand what those feelings are. And so, being able to recognize your feelings versus trying to do anything to um, make them shallow, or do something different where it's not you. It's okay to feel the way that you're feeling at this particular time, or at any particular time. You need to recognize that, and deal with it the best way you can, rather than trying to cover it up, or to do something to make it look like, or be different. That can cause some significant concerns and problems for you. And oftentimes we don't recognize that to be the case. And what happens when we sometimes do that? There's so many other things that can come out when we try to anesthetize our feelings and our emotions, when not necessarily wanting to recognize them for what they are. So it's okay to recognize your feelings, especially during this time. It's critical. It's important, and be the best you that you can be, even though it hurts, even though the feelings that you're having are painful in this time. Don't do anything, I think, at the end of the day, to succumb, or to press them further down inside of you, or to compact them with something else. It can cause more harm than good.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And we're not saying that don't feel. Ray and Reverend Fisher said I mean, you're going to feel, and the pain can be intense. It can be unbearable. It can be very hard to navigate through. And sometimes we just want to feel anything but the pain that we're feeling. So sometimes we just want to feel something else. We just want to feel something else. And when we say don't anesthetize, Ray said something earlier, which is very important. That she said it's okay to have one scoop of ice cream. I'm gonna give me two now. Anesthetizing for me is four, so I'm gonna just get two. She said it's okay to have one scoop of ice cream, but what happens is it becomes all things in moderation, right?
Yes.
So even when it comes to drinking, people have different mindsets, philosophies. You know, the Bible talks about moderation. It talks about not to the point of excess. So even during this holiday season, holiday parties, and everything that's going on, it's a difference between drinking to cope and drinking to be casual. And so you don't want to live in a bottle.
Right.
You don't want to anesthetize my train. What are some of the things? I was about to do a litany, a list of different things, but either one of y'all, what are some of the things that people use to anesthetize? What are some of the things that they do? Some of the activities they engage in?
So food would definitely be one. And I will also say spending. Sometimes people get into this, oh my gosh, I want to, stuff that you don't even need, but just the idea of pushing that button, you know what I mean? Knowing that Amazon is on the way. I think that those are two big things that can happen. That some two big things people use to anesthetize.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned one already too, Pastor. Given the perspective of the individual, drinking is something else that people definitely use to anesthetize their feelings. Um, People also have promiscuous behaviors that they can get involved in as a result of anesthetizing their behaviors, and then just their socialization behavior in and of itself, um, integrating themselves within various friendships in order to again numb their feelings, thinking that they can, engage in different types of social environments that will hopefully take their mind off of their feelings, is something else.
Yeah,
I also
I think.
wonder.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I just had a thought when you talked about people's behaviors, Dr. Fisher. Some people may also go into this space of thrill seeking, like almost like riding the highest roller coaster, or you know what I mean, like doing things that will get them to that point of, oh my gosh, like that feeling of almost euphoria. But of course, you have to come down from that. You know what I mean? So even though that may be more costly and a lot more dangerous, it still doesn't mean that it's not something that a person could use to numb that pain. Tattoos. People might decide to get piercings or tattoos as a way of numbing.
You know
People
something
cut
else too.
themselves.
So, absolutely. that was something I was going to say. But then also the other side of it too is writing. People can get into, just more on the positive side of this, to not necessarily anesthetize, but just to get it out. Just to write, to really start to just talk through what's really going on in this season, and in their head. Just writing their emotions out has been what I found to be kind of helpful, kind of from a positive to versus a negative, if you will, or not as good.
Yeah, I think that's very important because you got this energy, you got this pain, you got this feeling. I got this feeling. You got this feeling, and you want to do something. And so, like, I'm an R&B head, and so you want to find instrumental ways to release this energy to deal with this pain versus detrimental ways. So I think that's very important. You said right. I think you said right to get it out. Right, journal. Some people go to the gym. Some people go through a transformation. They start working out. We're going to talk about that in a couple of more sessions. But we're not denying that the pain or the feeling or the energy is there. We're saying the importance of channeling it in the proper way.
Yes.
The importance of making sure you do something that is constructive and not destructive.
Yes.
Quick testimony, and we're going to let you go. Loss is any type of loss. It's not just death, but it's loss. And I remember very vividly back in 2003, I went through a very, very, very pivotal circumstance in my life, and suffered a great loss. And I found myself anesthetizing. I didn't realize it at the time, but I turned to food, right? And several pounds later, I look back, I'm like, what in the world is going on? I went to the doctor. I said, oh, that scale is lying on me. It's telling a tale. But I begin to realize and look back and say, oh, that's how I've been coping with the pivotal circumstance that I've been facing. That I wasn't doing no meth, I wasn't doing no crack, I wasn't doing no cocaine, I wasn't jumping from bed to bed, I wasn't shopping, I wasn't throwing in the bag, but it was macaroni and ribs and dressing on a consistent basis. And so when it comes to the pain and the things you're dealing with and you're feeling, you have to discover and find constructive coping strategies, because anesthetizing, well, all it does, it compounds the problem. And yes, you may get a chemical release in your body, and you may feel that chocolate chip cookie is delicious. Having that a promiscuous encounter, it may make you feel some type of way. You may get a high when you swipe that card. You get a high when you drink that bottle or find yourself, shooting, tooting, whatever you do. But ultimately, it compounds the problem, and then your problems start giving birth to other problems. So you have to understand the importance of do not, here it is, I want you to see it again for yourself. Do not anesthetize. Do not anesthetize. Look, do us a favor. If you know somebody that can benefit from this message, tag them in this message, send them this message so that they can navigate this holiday season in a very responsible way. Look, we're coming to you Monday through Friday. Tools, tips, techniques, and takeaways to help you successfully navigate the holiday season. And as always, remember, small steps, they lead to great distances. Now you know. Let's go.